I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank, and this is Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. It's always nice to spend time at home, relaxing in your own backyard, sleeping in your own bed, and staring at your own tank. It is also nice to get out and about once in a while, see what's new in the saltwater tank world. And trade shows are a great way to get that done. You go to one place and you get to meet lots of new people and see lots of new gear. It's like a meet and greet for reef junkies. And last March, I went out to Costa Mesa, California to drop in on the Marine Aquarium Expo, or MAX for short, to see what I could turn up for you all. What did I find? Well, lots of stuff that I wasn't expecting.
First thing was first. Had to find a way to dodge the line of people outside, get past Captain Jack before I was recruited to become a pirate, and not get distracted by the eye candy the livestock vendors were displaying. Once that was handled, I found myself getting jealous at the paper airplane toss contestants, as my paper airplane throwing skills would never stack up to these guys and gals. Once all that was handled, I maintained my happily married status by staying out of potentially incriminating photographs with the mermaids. All that was now done, I could focus on what I was here to do. And the first thing that caught my eye? Not LEDs. Lighting your saltwater tank gets a lot of attention and draws a lot of debate from hobbyists. And one company, Solitube, well, they're saying, forget about artificial lighting. Why not use the sunlight, because it's up there and it's free. And Chip, tell me about this thing, because I'm looking at it thinking, if I don't live in a place where it's sunny all the time, this isn't going to work.
With our systems, what we're doing is bringing natural sunlight into the home, and it's bringing a tremendous amount of it in, but it's a very consistent light.
So even if it's cloudy outside, you still get a lot of light down through this thing.
You do, and a number of the technologies that we have really add to the performance of our system. We're getting the largest, or the highest, reflectivity in the market. It's 99.7%. Virtually all of the light that's going into the tube is going to be coming out the bottom and then being dispersed onto the display. As well, with our acrylic dome, what we have is some other technologies called the Raybender 3000. And what it's doing is collecting any low angle light, and it's bringing that light in. It's directing it into the tube. So throughout the day, whether it be in the morning or in the late evening when the sun's lower on the horizon, you're going to be getting a lot more light than you would versus traditional skylight.
So the light doesn't have to be directly over this to get good light down into your tank?
Absolutely not. And in fact, throughout the day, the light is going to stay relatively even despite when the sun goes overhead. Some part of that is that on the top we also have some grooves which are going to scrub off some of the high intensity light. So, and that's going to give you a very consistent lighting throughout the day.
And also, I mean, I'm looking at this, it seems pretty straightforward. It doesn't necessarily have to be incorporated in a new construction.
The construction of it is simple. You're just making two small openings, one in the roof, one in the ceiling above either the aquarium or in the room that you wanted to brighten up. And once you've got that, it's just a matter of connecting the system through. We can do runs upwards of 20 feet, in some cases 30 feet, depending upon the size of the system. So if the sun you're getting the most exposure on a certain part of the roof that's not over that room, that doesn't really matter. We can take the sunlight from there and reflect it and transport it and then redisperse it over another room in a completely different part of the home.
So you can, looks like this, you can make bends and bring it around.
Yeah, exactly. You can make 90 degrees that go all the way across the attic and then bring it right to where you want. And that adds a real flexibility for brightening up that room.
So it doesn't just have to come straight down?
Absolutely not.
Interesting. And any loss of intensity with all the bends?
And that's why we kind of limited it about 20% or 20 feet for a certain one. Our smaller, which is the 160 DS, we limit that at about 20 feet just because there is going to be some dissipation of light, and we want to make sure that the performance is going to be at what we expect it to be. And so going beyond that, we don't recommend, but anything within that, you're going to get so much light, it's going to be fantastic.
Okay, what happens to the light once it exits the tube? Well, Solitube has a couple options for interior diffusers, including one that jumped right out at me. Chip, I'm looking at this. Looks like this might have kind of a lens in it or a reflector dispersion. I mean, tell me what's in here. Can we have choices?
Absolutely. This is what's called our OptiView. Particularly in aquarium use, this is really nice because it does spread that light out a little bit more. So instead of having to bring the exit of the system higher up from the water, you can keep it lower to the water and it'll still disperse it really well. It's all about display. It's all about the look and feel that you're getting from that. But the key thing here is that by eliminating a lot of your primary lighting, what you're doing is going to start saving money on electrical costs. With the installation costs of something like this, the installation and product costs, you're still considerably less. And once you're installed, it's not going to cost you anything anymore.
Right. The sunlight's free.
Exactly. And it will continue to be free as long as you're in that location.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for showing me this, Chip.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
The Solitube is something to keep an eye on. Speaking of keeping an eye on things, how about enjoying the beauty of a saltwater tank without having a tank? We all enjoy having a saltwater tank to look at the beauty of the creatures inside of it. But Karen, I'm seeing art on the wall, but there's more to the story than just your art with these lovely paintings. Tell me about it.
I'm a self-taught artist. This has been a passion for me, and I've been exhibiting since 2009, and now this is my full-time thing.
Full-time gig.
Yeah.
And part of your work, you said, is also conservation. Tell me about that piece.
You know, my tagline is conservation through appreciation. And my idea is that, you know, maybe people will get to know something about a species they didn't know about before through my artwork. I feel like it's really important as well to give part of my proceeds to organizations that help to do this same sort of thing. So every year I donate 10% of my proceeds to different organizations, often, you know, sort of conservation education minded.
The art here is beautiful. I can take it home with me. It won't fit in the suitcase, but I can get it online as well.
You can get it online, and I'll ship it to you. And
fantastic. The Naso tank I got mine on, and it's right behind you here. My friend lost theirs after several years. Perfect piece for him. This is great. I need some new decorations for the new home. Cover up the holes in the wall.
I understand you just had to move not too long ago.
Well, this is great. Thanks for letting me stop in.
Oh gosh, thanks so much.
Okay, I've been to 2 booths that had some great stuff, but I'm ready to see something moving. You know, livestock. My wish was granted, but not in a way that I expected. Go to a saltwater tank trade show and you're gonna see equipment, fish, and corals. So this thing caught my eye. Now I'm here with Jim Stein, LA Fish Guy. What is this thing?
Thanks, Mark.
Absolutely.
One of those rare opportunities where Mr. Saltwater meets LA Fish Guy. We're here talking about the Jelly Aquarium. This is the mini Jelly Aquarium.
Mini.
This one holds 20 gallons of water.
Okay.
Has the filter system built into its backside.
Right.
You could purchase this tank only and put it on your countertop, or get this nice stand and canopy and make for a very attractive complete unit.
Okay.
This is our lowest price unit. Runs about $3,000. Still requires a refrigeration unit because these are cold water moon jellyfish.
How cold in here?
This is running at about 60 degrees right now.
Well, that's chilly.
Yeah, it's a very chilly unit. Moon jellyfish are your preferred choice of jellyfish, namely because they're the most frequently available.
Okay.
They don't sting. All those other
That's
species
important.
sting, and that is important. Because you got to be sticking your hand in there often.
You don't want to.
You don't want to put a big glove or a condom over your arm or anything like that.
No.
So
Those don't go on your arm.
again, this is the most affordable unit that the Jelly Aquarium line offers.
So this is a mini. How big is big?
There's a 30-inch, there's a 36-inch, a 48-inch, and there's a monstrous 60-inch.
How many gallons is a 60-inch?
The 60-inch is about 200 gallons.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how do you decide how many jellies you can put in here?
The real issue with the jellies is not how many you can put into the tank, but how many you can dodge while servicing the tank.
Got
Because
it.
jellies don't do very well when they're sucked up by your siphon hose.
Ah, okay.
And you can't take the jellies out of the system. You have to get in there with a siphon and extract that debris off the bottom. So it really comes down to not how many jellies the tank will hold, but how good or capable you are at not sucking the jellies out of the tank.
And how capable are you?
I still suck up a few every once in a while.
You got to suck up the debris. Water changes?
Well, that's the end result of siphoning out the debris is
Got
you
it.
end up performing a water change.
So 20% a month like a fish tank?
I would do this weekly, and I might do upwards of 3 gallons.
Okay.
Part of the trick in siphoning the jellies, again, is to not suck up the jellies. And the way to go about doing that is timing. There's a rotation that occurs in here of the jellies.
Okay.
And you want to shut down the system, and you want to get in there and siphon before all the jellies settle at the bottom.
Ah,
Because
timing,
that's
huh?
where you're really going to suck them up.
So what happens if you get one in your tubing? It's
Yeah. Yeah, they don't do well once they go through a siphon hose.
they ever make it through? You grab them and put them back in?
I've looked at them and considered it, but they're
Okay.
usually missing a side or a couple of tentacles or something like that.
It looks like it's got some LEDs that are changing
There are
colors.
color changing LEDs in the system here. All the new Jelly Aquariums coming out will include the color changing LED lighting system, which gives you the flexibility of a rotation of rainbow of colors, or you can select one color today. Maybe today's a green day, tomorrow's a red day, and the day after that might be a blue day.
Okay.
But hopefully there's no bad
days, right, exactly. Well, this is unique. I mean, you don't go to a fish show where you buy jellyfish, let alone a Jelly Aquarium.
That is correct.
Very unique type of thing. Sounds like they're fairly easy to keep other than the siphoning.
There's a little bit of a learning curve. But once you kind of master that, it's fairly simple.
And the siphoning dodging.
Including that.
Well, I know you're a master at it, Jim. Thanks for showing me this. I dig it.
Thank you, Mark. Good to see you on YouTube, and we'll all see you again soon and continue to move forward.
The gelarium, definitely unusual and definitely reef junkie material. Speaking of reef junkies, aren't computers for aquariums supposed to be hard to set up, such that there are only 4 reef junkies? Well, one company thinks otherwise. Hear the name Digital Aquatics and you're going to think Reef Keeper controller. But I'm here with Scott to tell me the new lifeguard system, not a controller. So what is it?
Well, you're right, it's not a controller. What Lifeguard is it's an advanced monitoring system. We've identified the 3 major issues for most common tank failures: temperature issues, spikes or drops, pH issues, which is often a derivative of another problem, as well as leaks or low or high water levels when your RO system goes bad, or if you have a leak in your plumbing. What Lifeguard does is it'll monitor those 3 parameters and it'll be able to alert you in the event if there's ever a failure.
It sounds pretty advanced. How hard is this thing to set up?
It's actually quite simple. We've really taken a lot of current technology. We've packed a whole lot of horsepower in this little device right here, and by doing that, we've been able to build in a lot of very intuitive interfaces. It's a simple 5-step process to set up this device, and in that we ask things like your email address.
So email, this thing will let me know if there's a problem via email.
Exactly, it can send you an email or a text message to your phone in the event there's ever a problem.
And I don't have to open ports,
Nope.
create other accounts, none of that.
Not one bit. In fact, this new device handles SSL email accounts, so your standard email, whether it's your ISP, Comcast, or whoever, those will all work natively. In the past, our controllers and other devices out there have required kind of backdoor solutions to that problem.
Sure.
And we've really tried to make this a modern day solution, current technology.
And on top of all that, you were saying that I can log into one central site and monitor it.
We're going to be rolling out a service program at no extra cost that you'll be able to log in from anywhere in the world and check your system. Now, you can still use some of the older techniques of port forwarding if you want to get more detailed views of your graph like you would within your home network.
Okay.
But if you just want a quick synopsis of what's going on, you'll be able to log into your account on a server system and get that information.
Now, Scott, I heard earlier water on floor sensor. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so there's a few solutions out in the market right now. One of them that's really popular is the water bug.
I'm very familiar with it.
And the water bug has a dry contact or a relay port on it where you can actually wire in and get a signal from it if there's ever water or leaks on your floor.
Right.
This system actually allows you to wire into that sensor, and it'll again email you or text message you if there's ever water on your floor.
But what happens if it gets disconnected?
That's a great question. We actually use a switch or a connector on the Lifeguard that will actually detect if that switch is ever removed. Because when there is no signal, you won't know that, other than that it's in good shape,
Right.
if something's wrong. If it gets removed, it won't change the state. However, we've again used a switch in there, so when you pull that plug out, it actually identifies that the switch is no longer present.
So
Another level of backup.
it looks great. I love controllers, I love backups. I'm not afraid of computers, but this is a great way to get into it and get your feet wet.
Absolutely.
And keep an eye on your tank as well.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. Thanks for showing it to me, Scott.
No problem.
At this point, I thought I'd seen it all. Low-cost natural lighting, zero maintenance fish, beyond ordinary livestock, and a monitoring system that your grandmother could set up. But how about an all-in-one tank that might just change my opinion of self-contained systems? All-in-one tanks usually leave a lot to be desired, but I'm looking over this Red Sea Max S650. You hear it, this thing is so well thought out. Take me through it, because it's more than just what meets the eye here.
With pleasure. This is the S650. It's the biggest among 3 other sizes, 2 other sizes actually. This is the biggest. There's the S400 and the S500, which are 110 and 135 gallons all-in-one reef tank.
Right.
This little baby here is 175 gallons. And as you can see, it includes everything. And the S is for a sump. You want to go down and see
Yeah,
it?
so you have a sump on this thing. It's usually all-in-one in the tank, but this actually has a sump.
It has everything you ever need.
Let me go see this thing.
Water comes down and move left to the skimmer's chamber. The skimmer is elevated above the water surface,
Okay,
just a little bit in order not to flood it when the power goes off.
good.
And it sits on a rubber pedestal in order to reduce vibration and noise. Okay? Moving on, there's another chamber, a free chamber for whatever crazy ideas you have. If you want to have a fuge, you can do that.
Aquariums easily become a jungle of cords, but the Red Sea Max 650 has a central power distribution center where anything electric on the tank can be controlled. There are also light timers built in for those of you without a controller, and of course every plug is labeled and has its own on and off switch for individual control. Okay, so that's the front of the tank. Let's have a look at the back side. So what's back here?
Okay, back here, this is like a peeping hole to see what's going on in your overflow, which you can look from the side as well. This is the adjustable valve, the diaphragm valve, very sensitive. You can literally spin it and control those water flow.
So how much is going down into your sump?
Yeah, you can control it and keep it totally quiet. You see, this is sticking up.
Right.
This is the emergency overflow.
Right.
And right now it runs pretty loud. So what I'm gonna do is adjust it.
And it's completely quiet.
Dead silent.
Okay, I like fail-safes, but what does the overflow look like in this tank?
This is the surface skimmer. It runs all the way throughout the aquarium, skims everything from the top, and there's 4 circulation pump in this model.
And you were showing me yesterday, we want to get in the tank. This pops up, light comes off.
Correct. The whole thing
It'll
would
slide
slide
back and forth.
backwards. And as you lift it, you still have plenty of room to work with. Another cool thing about this unit is this little fellow here. This bulkhead is connected directly to the sump, and it's a freshwater reservoir. It can hold about a week of fresh water supply, this entire tank.
So the whole top-off system is right in here.
Correct. And you fill it up from here.
So this is where the top-off is filled.
Correct. And if you peep down here, you can always see
Clear
how
that.
much water you got left, if you need to fill it up or not. And it's gravity fed to a float valve made 100% out of plastic, not with those metallic inserts that rust and fail after a few years.
And you guys are doing lots of detail work. I mean, we have lines for the cords, we
Yeah,
have channels for everything.
Channels and plugs, rubber plugs to keep everything in place.
I mean, normally I'm not a fan of all-in-one tanks, but you guys have thought this thing out to a level I've never seen this kind of detail work. I'm very impressed. This could very well change my opinion of all-in-ones.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thanks for showing it to me.
Well, great pleasure.
Saltwater Aquarium trade shows are a great place to see new gear, check out some cool corals, and see some old friends as well as make new ones, like my friend Captain Jack here. Good to see you again this year, Captain Jack.
Good to see you, Mr. Saltwater Fish Tank Man.
What is this thing on your shoulder?
What? Where?
There.
On my shoulder.
Other side. Turn your head.
Oh, it's just a friend of mine. It's Kraken. You know?
Friend.
Yes.
And he tried to eat you in the movie.
Of course, that was a close relative, bigger, unique one. Not.
This is a small, friendly brother.
Aye, this one is a good luck Kraken, believe it or not.
Where do I get one?
Where do you get a good luck Kraken? That's a setup for a bad terminology. Well, first you have to become a pirate, and then you have to have a ship, and you have to have a hat, and of course you have to have rum, but filled, not empty.
There's a beer cart over there.
Yeah, $12 a shot.
It's beer.
It's not even grog. I mean, grog, come on, that's water and rum mixed together. Beer is just, well, I don't even want to say what it is. Go on.
Well, I mean, my question is, what are you going to do now that the Pirate series is over? There's no more Pirates of the Caribbean, so what's next for you?
Over?
Over.
Not under, but over, right?
Overdone.
Overdone. That's well done.
Yes.
And I think we did well done. Yes, we did. We did well done.
You did well in the movie.
But I don't, as for over, no,
Yes.
only momentarily, mate. Only momentarily.
So you will be at Marine Aquarium Expo 2013.
I shall return with a Kraken on my shoulder or a monkey on my back, one of the two. Monkey's easier to get rid of, as you can see.
Fantastic. We'll see if it's still with you next year, Captain Jack. Until next time, I'm Mark Callahan, Mr. Saltwater Tank. This has been Mr. Saltwater Tank TV. Have a good one, enjoy your tank, and know your tank personality. What's your tank personality?
Nemo. No, actually, my tank personality is definitely Dory. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming.
You can swim with rum. That's not safe, you know.
Yes, yes. Kraken rum all the way to the end. He ain't milking right now.